Okay, so for this week's blog, I wanted to talk about chapter 15, and in particular, I wanted to talk about chapter 15.2, the fundamentals of writing in general and specifically for public relations. In the textbook, Seidel talks about a four-part formula for writers to make it easier and to make sure that it really grabs the attention of the audience of whoever's reading it or who it pertains to. So the first part of the formula that Seidel brings up is the idea must precede the expression. And what he's saying here is, like, a lot of people can see an event or go to an event, hear something, and they immediately get the meaning of it, and they can immediately write out a story multiple pages long, no problem. And then what he's saying is the issue is then the next time they go to write, they want to change up how they wrote or something like that. He's saying don't change the way that you write. Stay the way that you do. If it's not broke, don't fix it, basically. The second part of the formula is to not be afraid to draft. So he's saying go ahead and write out all your ideas, write it the way you think it should be, and everybody should do a draft. We always do rough drafts when we write papers for classes and stuff like that. So he's saying as a PR writer, you should do drafts before you do a full published piece. And after the draft, the third part is to simplify and clarify what that rough draft is looking like. So going back, making sure there's no mistakes, taking out any slang words, things that don't need to be a part of it, that can kind of jumble up what you're trying to say in your message for the piece. Just eliminating everything that doesn't need to be in there and making it easier to read for the audience. Just use plain old English is what Seidel says in the textbook. And then the fourth part to this formula is writing must be aimed at a particular audience. So he's saying in this case you need to know who your audience is, and that's going to determine the way that you write and the way you word things, because you're trying to target that specific audience and you want them to read everything that you write and not get disinterested in whatever you're writing, and want them to feel like this is something that they need to read that is vital to them, because if not, they're just not going to read it, and that's not the point of the piece. So that's my little review for this part of the chapter 15 in our textbook. All right, thanks.